So how you doing? A while ago, I had developed a somewhat fast sharpening off of my grinder, and today we're going to kind of revisit it, hopefully. I hope I didn't forget the ankles. It's quite possibly I got it a little off, but it should be pretty close. We've always tested it on this saw, so we're going to go ahead and put it back on this saw. That's the Bellhopper built 372 clone, and basically the setup we took sixth place with at Sawfest last year. So that's basically what you're looking at here, hopefully, as long as I remembered these sharpening angles. But we're gonna give it a run. This chain, I developed it for hardwood. It works best on a hardwood, of course. You know, if it's gonna cut hardwood really well, it'll cut softwood really well too. But I mainly developed it to help, you know, make hardwoods just a little more pleasant to cut. But you know, the angles are a little more extreme, and you know, you're gonna be sharpening a little more often. It's not too bad, but you know, you do have to sharpen a little more often. Now, I guess we'll just go over here to the pile of logs and start cutting on a piece of that hardwood so you can see what I'm talking about. I am having a carburetor issue with this saw, so if we have a hiccup here, it's because the carburetor needs replaced. We had some issues from day one with the carburetor. It's just over time it's been getting worse, and sometimes it takes me a minute to get her cutting right. So I think the check valve in the carburetor is going bad. Well, I think it was bad from day one, really. It's getting worse. But I'm gonna order a new carburetor for it here soon, I think, and get her put on. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead, give her a run, and hopefully I can remember these angles, and you're gonna get to see. I mean, this grind is it's something coming off of my my Oregon chain grinder. You know, there's no file involved here. 25 thousandth raker, nothing extreme. I'm relying entirely on the tooth to get the job done. I'm not relying on the raker pretty much at all. 25 thousandth raker, and everything else I do is all, you know, on the tooth. So here we go. That sounds good. All right, so there we go. She wasn't 100%. Needed just a little bit more self-feed on the chain. So I think another degree or two on the tilt. I was trying to remember what the angles were to make it, you know, the way it used to be. And I'm pretty close. I'm just like a degree or two off on that head tilt to get it back to where it was. But you get a pretty good idea. She's smooth. It cuts really smooth. It's not unpleasant to cut with, and it gets the job done fairly quick. One of these days we will compare that chain to C83. We'll try it as an out-of-the-box C83, and then we'll go ahead and adjust the rakers on C83 and do it again. I haven't bought it yet. I'm basically kind of holding out. I'm gonna buy a whole roll of it, 100-foot roll of it. But it costs a chunk of money to buy a 100-foot roll of it, and I just haven't, you know, mustered it up and went ahead and done it yet. But that's what we're gonna do though. We're gonna get a 100-foot roll of C83 just because it's, you know, it's one of the best ones to get, and that's what we're gonna do. You know, I can get just a little bit more out of it. The angle just wasn't 100%, but she's pretty close. But it's been like a year since I've done this, so doing it from memory is, you know, a little bit more of a challenge. But I can tell you, I'm really close. My self-feed just isn't quite there. I will tell you the angles. This chain is not like a long bar. In fact, 20 inches is about the maximum length you want to go on this type of a sharpening. So that's why I don't really talk about it much and share the angles and stuff, because 20-inch bar is about the max you want to go. You go longer than that and it just gets too difficult to control, and it just ain't worth it. It's actually better on like 16-inch bars. So like racing in a situation where you're on like 8x8 cans and you're on a 16-inch bar, that's where this sharpening really shines the most. But I know there's a lot of people wondering what kind of angles these are. It's just, the reason I don't share it is because if you try this on anything bigger than a 20-inch, and even on a 20-inch, like you've seen how I kept cutting out, that's this chain. It's a little more challenging to control, and that's kind of why I don't share it. It's just a little much, you know. It takes a lot of practice to get used to it, even though it does cut well. Now, whenever you try to put this chain on a 24-inch bar, that whole situation where I was like cutting out and stuff, your cuts get actually even worse. Like they get even more haywire. She gets all side. She wants to go side on you and stuff. It's because if you're applying pressure and you're not 100% perfect on the way you apply pressure, you're going to pull it, then make a turn one way or the other. And if you dog it in, just by having your dogs offset of the bar, you end up pulling it to the side. That's just the way this chain is sharpened. That's why it's best on short bars, you know, like 16 inches or so. 20 is like the max. And you can see I was having a little bit of trouble on it. And that's just because I haven't done it in like a year. I don't run this chain sharpened this way all the time. It is smooth. It's a way to get a little more aggressive on your hardwoods and, you know, still have it cut smooth. Like if I was cutting firewood, it'd be fine if my cuts weren't perfect, you know? Like this 20-inch bar on this saw on a firewood situation is fine. In the cookie situation, it's too difficult to keep it straight. You know what I mean? But anyway, hey, I hope you enjoyed this little one. Little talk about some chain, getting things a little extreme. Sometimes I'd be willing to bet if all of you tried this chain, I'd be willing to bet 90% of you would not like it. So, you know, it is one of those things. But anyway, hey, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.